Hello friends, it is Mrs. P. I am here to do my debt update. This is going to be the update for June. I know we are in July, but this is going to show you guys what our numbers are looking like going into July. If you are new here, and I do have quite a few new subscribers, and I'm not sure how far back you've gone, and I don't do a lot of introductions, and I don't let you know. I guess I just assume everybody knows who I am. But if you're new here, I am married. My husband and I just celebrated year 28 of marriage. We have 3 kids. My oldest son is 27. He lives in Washington State. My middle son is, we live in North Carolina. My middle son lives about 2 hours away. He is 25, almost 26. And our youngest is she's getting ready to go into 10th grade in high school. She's going to be a sophomore. And there's quite a bit of difference between her and the boys, because we kind of decided once they were in middle school that we weren't done. So we had her. And we are very, very blessed with our family. The boys are adulting on their own really well. I couldn't be more proud of them. They've both graduated from college and they've got good jobs. And my oldest is engaged. He's going to get married next year. My middle son, he is thinking about it. So he hasn't made that leap yet, but he is thinking about it. And so, yeah, we are on a debt-free journey, hoping to pay off the rest of our debt. It is hard. It is a struggle. And, some months are better than others. So let's go ahead and get started. I am a teacher, so I only get paid once a month. And I only get paid during the school year. So July and August, I do not get paid. My first paycheck after the summer break comes in the last day of August, which will cover September's bills. So let's go ahead and get started. I feel like I've been kind of all over the place. I am tired. I am filming this Thursday evening. I just got back from the grocery store, had to run and get a few more things for tomorrow, for the 4th. We are going to have a small get together at home, and I just wanted to make sure we had everything. I don't want to have to go to the store tomorrow. So anyway, let's go ahead and do this. So this debt picture is for June 2025. And I will tell you, all of these boxes that you see in yellow are balances that we paid off in the year 2024. At the beginning of 2025, we started out with $33,000 worth of debt, and that's consumer debt. Now I have a student loan and I have a mortgage, but this is just credit cards, car payments, all those things. So for those of you who are not new to my channel, you will remember that the debt we were working on was Wells Fargo. Well, we owed just over $3,000 on that credit card. It was a 0 interest card because it was a balance transfer. But the 0% interest was getting ready to go away. And then all of the interest that I guess what the balance we started with is what the interest would be on. I'm not even sure how that works. But I didn't want that to happen. So I knew we couldn't get it paid off by August because we only have 1 more month left to get it paid down, and it just wasn't going to happen. The only way we could have done it is if we drained our emergency fund, and I just wasn't willing to do that. I just decided it just isn't worth it, because if something happens, then we're going to swipe that card, so I don't want to do that. So at the end of May, for Wells Fargo, we owed $3,375. In the month of June, I made $311 worth of debt payments. Not much, but we had to focus in other areas, but it was still more than what the minimum was. So it brought our balance down to right at $3,100 and something. And then I transferred that amount to Bank of America. I didn't want to open a new credit card. I still had a Bank of America card. It had nothing on it. It was completely paid off. That was one, I guess, that I did before I even I guess that was my 2023 card. I don't know, but I still had this card. And I had gotten an offer from a couple cards, actually, that I still had. I have a Discover card, and I had the Bank of America card. Well, the Bank of America offered a 0% interest balance transfer for 12 months. Discover was just for 10 months. So I went ahead and went with the Bank of America. So I transferred this balance. After we paid this, and then we paid the 5% transfer fee, our new balance going on to Bank of America is $32,1720. And so that is the balance. This is what we'll be working on. We have 12 months to pay that, which we will do that. It's not going to be hard to do once I start getting paid again. And so that will be our focus. It'll be now Bank of America instead of Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo is paid off in full. It is no longer a debt. It's Bank of America. So the difference, even though we paid $311, we did lose some to the transfer. So it still came down $157.80. It makes me sad to have to pay that transfer fee, but I know that that transfer fee was still less than what the interest would have added on to our debt. So I'm okay with that transfer fee. All right, so that's our credit card debt. Then we have my car payment. So my car is last month we had $83.73.64 as the balance. I made a $500 car payment. It usually comes out of my paycheck, but since I don't get paid July and August, I have to pay it myself. So I paid $500, and it brought the balance to $79.06.69, which was a difference of $466.95. Okay, most of it is going to the principal now and not the interest. I think the interest rate on the car is like 4% or 3.95 or something like that. All right, the truck, at the end of May, we owed $14,194.02. Made the regular $470 payment, and now we owe $13,773.17, which is a difference of $420.85. And so that is what I consider our consumer debt, the credit card and the 2 vehicles. I have changed if you can tell, I changed my debt setup. I am no longer going to track my mortgage. I hated getting those numbers. They're so large. I don't even like getting my student loan numbers. And I know that once I start going back to school, or once I get back to work at school, these are going to be my focus. But the biggest focus, I'm going to have 2 priorities. One will be saving again for next summer, so I have an income, and 2 will be for the wedding. So those will be the primary focus I have, and then I'm going to make sure that I pay enough toward Bank of America that this is paid off before the 12 months is up, because I don't want to have to transfer it again. So that is the plan. Student loans, I'm just going to make the minimum payment, and I'm not even going to think about the interest and all the things that I'm paying. It hurts my heart, hurts my soul to pay all that interest towards student loans. But for right now, that's just what I have to do. The student loans are large because they also include 2 parent loans. I took a parent loan out for each of the boys to help with their bills and living expenses and all the things. They both worked during college, but they didn't make enough money to work, pay their bills, and go to school. So, all right, so let's go ahead and get back here. So the total debt, consumer debt, was $25,689.66. The total amounts in payments that we made was $1,281. The new balances of all of them has come down to $24,897.06. Which I was just taking a peek as I was like updating this tracker. I went back and looked at where we were the beginning of 2023. Guys, we have come so far. I'm going to show you those numbers just so you have an idea of like this looked like a lot of debt here. but that is nothing compared to what we used to have. So we will talk about that in a minute. All right, so the total difference in all of our payments is $1,045.60. So that's what the balances actually came down with interest and everything. So far, since January of this year, we have paid off $8,252.26. And I looked, and that is right at 25% of our debt for the year is gone. So we're halfway through the year. So we may get down to 50%, which I would love to. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But it would be nice. So that would be around, what, 16,000, 17,000. I don't know. I don't know if we can do it or not. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the numbers in for student loans. But I'm not going to focus on them because very little is going to the principal. A lot is going to the interest. And I'm just going to have to be okay with that for right now. I don't want to switch them to a personal loan or anything like that, or even a credit card, because I don't want to get myself in trouble. So the regular payment for student loan 1 is $98, and student loan 2 is $399.76. And so the new balances barely even moved. 74.45. And okay, so 16,000. So this one went down by $21.64. This big one went down to $65,513.04, which was a difference of $97.51. So paying $500 in payments toward our student loans, or my student loan and parent loans, and it barely goes down just over $100. So that's why I don't want to look at it too much. I just want to focus here because I see this is where we're making the most progress. And eventually when these are gone, I can focus here. And eventually, I like to focus on our mortgage. All right, so these numbers, at the beginning of 2025, we owed $33,000. Let me just see if I can find at the beginning of, let's see here, 2024. I tried to keep all of my, so at the beginning of 2024, so a year and a half ago, we were at just over $56,000. But let's go back here. This is where it really shows how much progress we've made. And we did a lot of selling, and it was hard. We were gazelle intense because this is two columns of debt, 33 debts, just in consumer debt. This didn't include the mortgage or anything. 33 debts. It wouldn't even fit on one side of the page. I had to make two columns. Now, granted, a lot of them were very small. If you notice, all of these, well, they were all under the first 13 were under $1,000. We had, just hear me out. We had Capital One. I'm thinking we had like three. Capital One, Capital One 2. I thought we had 3 of them. Yeah, because Walmart was Capital One. And he had Walmart. So we had 4 Capital One cards, 2 each. Crazy. Home Depot. We had all of these. Affirm and Uplift. There's an Affirm. Klarna. Wayfair. We had 2 Wayfair. Apple. There's another Affirm. We had Venmo credit card. We had Tractor Supply. Here's my Bank of America. Yeah. So that one got paid off in 2023. But we were at $100,000. Now, our vehicles at the time were about half of that. So most of the debt we paid off in the last 2 years did go toward the vehicle loans because we're down at least half on those. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of show you guys, if you hadn't seen like my original debt, my confession, my debt confession, this is where we were. When we didn't have money for something, our solution was to get another credit card, because most of the credit cards we had were maxed out or very close to maxed out. So we would get an offer for a new credit card. We'd open a new line of credit. I think our credit scores at the time were probably under 600, if I'm not mistaken. They had to be. You couldn't have all this debt and not have a very low credit score, because everything affects it. You know, how much credit you have out there. And our credit has gone up significantly, because when we were here, there was no way we would have been able to get an offer of a 0% interest card. Now, we worked our way there, and we eventually got there, but we had to work on, we probably paid at least half of these off before we could even do that. So anyway, I just wanted to show you where we came from. And there are sometimes people who question, you know, we have some subscriptions like Netflix and, oh gosh, what are some of the others we pay for? Spotify and things like that. We cancel and add and switch around subscriptions depending on what we're watching or whatever at the time. But as long as the subscriptions are under $100, I feel like that's still a good place, because I know that we have made a lot of progress, and we still need to live. We still need to enjoy life a little. And I will tell you, it is hard. It is very tempting. My brother and sister-in-law were over just the other day, and they're going on a Christmas cruise, and they were begging us to go. And I will not lie, I looked up that cruise, and I was putting in all the numbers, and I was thinking, we can do this. And I got to the final screen where it had like the cost of the cruise, and I'm like, what am I doing? We have a wedding to pay for. Like, I can't go on a cruise that's going to cost us $5,000, because a Christmas cruise is at least double, if not more, than a cruise in like the off season. So anyway, I X'd out of it. I did not book the cruise, but I will tell you, it's hard to say no sometimes, you know, because my brother and my sister-in-law have my niece who will be 2 years old then, and I just love being around her and around them and spending that time together. But we can also have fun just spending time together at home. We don't have to go on that cruise. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, update you guys, show you where I'm at. And I did do the balance transfer, so we will just keep plugging away. And now we're not working on Wells Fargo. We're working on Wells Fargo, aka, no, Bank of America, also known as Wells Fargo, right? Is that how I say that? I don't know. All right, you guys, have a wonderful 4th of July tomorrow. Be safe. Spend time with your loved ones. Relax. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the freedom that we have to celebrate the 4th of July. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.